this is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. We're here for another one of our Tidy Fridays, and I'm here at my sewing machine desk. And what I have here is beside my desk, I just have these file folders. I can't even remember what's in them, and a book. And there's this cupboard. Now this cupboard was my son's. It was to kind of go with his little toy kitchen that he had up here. And I was just kind of looking, deciding what to do for my Tidy Friday. And actually this cupboard's actually empty. It had a couple of the old, toy kitchen kind of things in there, but only a couple. No one was using it. And actually you couldn't even really open the doors because these books were actually kind of wedged much further along. It's got a couple of things obviously stood on the top. But what I've got this side of the desk is some boxes and things. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just swap the two things around, so that my cupboard actually is this side and the boxes are that side, because then I will be able to get to the doors of the cupboard much easier. And then obviously I can then utilise the cupboard for some items. So I'm just going to swap that round. Okay, so I've swapped it round now. I'm just going to pull these couple of file folders out and then just have a look and see what's in them. This book, obviously I could do with putting on the shelf, so I will just pull that out. Oh, this is an actual empty file folder. This one is an actual empty file folder. It's just got some plastic wallets in there. And this one, oh gosh, it's like super heavy. So, oh, this is more of my card making stuff, which every week I kind of say, oh, I'm going to whittle it down to one box. And of course the box is just still overflowing. It's not contained in one box at all. So yeah, I need to kind of go through this. A lot of the things in here are sort of happy birthday and birthday wishes and, sentiments that are ready stamped. So it's kind of quite a handy one. But I might just empty those all into my card making kind of box that I've got. So I'm just going to move that out of the way. The book I'm going to just put to the side, ready to go on the shelf. But I will probably have to fight to get that on the shelf later, because I've got some more things now cluttered up there. And then in here, I've got another one of those lovely photo boxes from Ikea. Now, I find these really helpful, to be honest. I don't, necessarily have the lids on them. As you can see, this one's just slotted into the lid. But they're just a really good size. And so this one, I've got some of my kind of vintage pictures and things that I've already backed onto card to make them look like vintage photographs. And, obviously, eventually, it may well get completely full of those types of things. But they're just handy then, because then I can just grab them. So I'm just going to see if that will slot in that gap. It probably, oh yeah, it does. I thought then I was going to not manage to slot it in there. So I'm just going to slot that in there. Now this tub here, what's it got in here? Oh, just rubbish, to be honest. I've got this gorgeous, gorgeous stamp. I've had this for years. Couldn't tell you what stamp it is, but I absolutely love it. So I don't know how it ended up in that box, to be honest. And then just rubbish by the looks of things, kind of lots of these felt stars and things, which, again, I'm probably not really likely to use. I've got a wooden heart, which, I maybe would make something from that, a little heart hanger or something. Probably the rest of this, to be honest. I mean, it's just lots of these beads, but, in sort of strange, weird colours. I mean, my daughter maybe would quite like some of this stuff. So perhaps I will give that tub to her. Probably I will put it in her own tub, which we started making up for her the other day. So she's got this lovely box now going on here. And she keeps all her stamps and what have you in there. So, oh, look, she's decorated it up with those little gorgeous blingy things that we've been using lately. So I'm just going to put her little tub up there, and then she can decide how she wants that. So I'll just come back round. Okay, right, so the other tub that I had stood on there was this one, which this has just got some of those flowers, that ready for making, obviously, some flowers. And I've actually got these in another tub somewhere else. So I should put them straight in the other tub. Oops, if I can find where they are. It's a case of remembering what tub I actually had them in. I'll have to remember where they are. But then I can put all of those in the other tub with the rest of the petals, because I've got lots of these petals that I've kind of made, just, pre-made, ready to make flowers. And they then all can just be stored in one thing, and then I'll have another tub there. for use. So I'm going to go and put this away in with my stamps. This can go in my favourite stamps on my craft cart. And then we'll see what we can do with the cupboard, you know, what we can store in the cupboard. So I'll be back in a moment. Right, I've had a bit of a look around, and what I've decided to do, and I'm hoping that this is actually going to fit. As you can see, I've got these two craft carts. So this is the one that I bought much more recently. And this is obviously my original one that I've had for years. Now, oops, I've wedged my Big Shot in the bottom of this, and clearly it, you know, it doesn't really fit very well or anything else. And of course, over time, things have got chucked in there on top of it. So it kind of just makes it really difficult to get to be honest. So I'm going to try and just put that on top of those drawers and then put all of my dies. I mean, I don't have a ton of dies in the vintage style. I used to have more when I was doing card making and things. But then they could be stored in the cupboard. So I'm just going to take this across and see how it fits. Right, as luck would have it, it fits perfectly on top of that cupboard. So I'm just going to take the rest of the things out of here, which are all sort of little dies and things like that. So I've got like my metal ones in this little box. Again, you know, not really kind of stored in the best way or anything. And I'm going to just transfer all of those over to that cupboard. And then it's all kept in one place. And then again, just take out all of these, you know, different platforms, I think they refer to them, and put them all in the cupboard. So everything to do with my, you know, die cutting machine is all literally in the same place. Oops, that I can get to it all, you know, at once. And then of course I've then freed up this entire bottom section, which will be much better utilised with other things. So I would just take all of this stuff across to the cupboard. Right, as luck would have it, it fits perfectly on top of that cupboard. So I'm just going to take the rest of the things out of here, which are all sort of little dies and things like that. So I've got like my metal ones in this little box. Again, you know, not really kind of stored in the best way or anything. And I'm going to just transfer all of those over to that cupboard. And then it's all kept in one place. And then again, just take out all of these, you know, different platforms, I think they refer to them, and put them all in the cupboard. So everything to do with my, you know, die cutting machine is all literally in the same place. Oops, that I can get to it all, you know, at once. And then of course I've then freed up this entire bottom section, which will be much better utilised with other things. So I would just take all of this stuff across to the cupboard. Okay, so we're here at the cupboard. You have to excuse this. It had some sort of clay or something stuck on there. Obviously, someone's been playing with it with some kind of Play-Doh-y stuff and it just won't come off. So I've got these gorgeous hearts. I've had those for years and years, since my card making days. But again, they're still, you know, still suitable for the, you know, vintage kind of things that we do now. I've got this file folder, which I absolutely love. So that can go there. And obviously they've all got their little names on the, you know, on the end. So I'm just going to try and stack them up. Now I've got this one from Tim Holtz, and I've had this one again for years. It's, you know, seen better days, as you can see, but it still works perfectly fine. And this is the one with those little kind of, I don't know whether you can see really, but I think you could probably see better before I moved it. There we go. Those tiny tags and things, which I love using for kind of closures and things. And it's also got the little file folder topper there. So, you know, it's quite a nice one. I mean, I don't tend to use my Big Shot very often, to be honest, but partly that's because it's not very easy to get to. So hopefully now I will use it, you know, a bit more. So that's those tattered florals. I might prefer to actually put all these on their sides, I'm just thinking, like that, because of course then going to get a lot more in the cupboard. Right, what's this one? Brackets. So this is like a decorative edge, if you can see that. Again, I hardly ever use that. But again, you know, maybe I will use it a lot more if I can actually get to it a bit more easily. So that's that. And then I have got, you know, the rest of it really. I've got the magnetic platform. So let me just grab that. So that's that magnetic platform, which it really killed me to buy because it was, I can't remember actually, but I feel like it was £20 or something. It seemed extortionate for what it was, to be honest. And I'd wanted it for ages and just kept putting it off, but I did eventually buy it. And to be honest, it literally transforms cutting your you know, using the thinlits. It really kind of, yeah, makes it so much easier, because before I was kind of faffing about with the washi tape trying to stick them onto the platform, where this obviously is magnetic and they just literally hold completely in place. So, you know, it not the cheapest, but I would definitely say it's a really great thing to have if you can, you know, stretch to it. Then I've got my, oh, I don't know what they call these, the long platform. So I can probably just kind of, just trying to think how is best to store this. So I'm keeping everything reasonably accessible. Perhaps I could, let's just see if I can put this up on its side. The depth of the cupboard. I don't know whether the doors will close now. Hold on. Sorry, trying to do this one-handed is not great. Yeah, so the doors do still shut. So I could have my magnetic platform maybe, I don't know, maybe at that end would be a bit more sensible. So I'll just turn it round so that I can see at a glance what it is. So like that. Okay. Okay. And does that still fit? Yeah, it does. So I can have that one there. Now, then I've got my, you know, extender platformy things as well. Again, we've seen better days. I've used them and used them, but, you know, they still work fine. So I'll just pop those on there. Then that's my Tim Holtz rosette. Yeah, it's called Mini Paper Rosettes. So again, I've had that for years. I still really, really like it. I do forget to use them, and I've, you know, got lots already cut out, but it's fun when I do use it. Right, this one here, not even sure what this is. I'm not sure what this is. This is a foam, or is this another magnetic thing? Oh, I can't really see, I'm afraid. You can probably all read that, and I'm just being ridiculous, can't read it, but yeah, I'm not too sure what that is, to be honest. Cutting pad. No, cutting pad. I don't know what that's for, to be honest, but, you know, obviously I'm not going to throw it away, because no doubt I would then suddenly see a video with someone using it and really be annoyed with myself for cutting it away. That's my other little, you know, thingamajiggy standard cutting mat. So obviously I'll just slot those in there, keeping them together. And then aside from those things, I've got my embossing folder platform thing. So again, I think this is a Tim Holtz one. It's really lovely. This is my only embossing folder that I have. I haven't had it for that long. I think I got this. I think I got this last year. I actually can't remember, to be honest. But I've only used it a few times. Again, because, you know, my big shop wasn't that accessible. So again, I'm just going to pop that in there like that. And then aside from those ones, all of my other dies, I've got a little tag that's a round one. So that's, you know, maybe quite useful. So I'll just put that there. And then all of my other ones are actually metal dies. So I've got kind of some frames and things like that. So, oops. And I just keep them all in this little box, you know, which maybe again is not really the best storage solution, but you know, at least they're all together then, and you know, contained and not too bad, because obviously I've seen those folders where you keep all these, but again, the folders then would take up quite a lot of room. Unfortunately, the number one doesn't really fit in there, so I'm just going to take that out, put that in there like that. Okay, and I would just lay the numbers kind of in there flat like that. So that's everything now contained in there that's all to do with the big shot. So I have no excuse now for not really using it. Don't know yet what I'm going to put in the bottom. Yeah, I'm not quite sure yet what I'm going to put in the bottom. But obviously the most exciting thing is I've now got that whole free part of my craft cart. So let's go back there. Right, so this is my container with my mass make items in it. And all I do is just pull them out as and when I'm, you know, making a journal. If I've got something that I can utilise in a journal, obviously, be it decorated or undecorated, I take it out from here. So that's those things. And I was thinking I would kind of use that bottom you know, not tray, but this, you know, section for those types of things. But to be honest, it seems a little bit wasteful because, of course, they are, you know, reasonably neat and tidy already in here. This is my lovely lace box that I had received in Happy Mail. So again, that's absolutely fine. This is a few things like half finished projects and things like that that I need to get round to doing as well. I have more there. Yep, you know, in a constant state of disarray, to be honest. And my craft cart is not looking too clever either again. And then in here, I've just got some kind of fabric items and things like that I've made. So they're all in containers, so it seemed a bit wasteful. And of course, you know, the thing that I have probably the most trouble constantly, that's, you know, a constant battle, is of course paper. So I just quickly checked, and actually, you know, this section is big enough. So at first I kind of laid in a couple of sheets and I just thought, oh, I could store paper in here. But of course, you know, again, the laying down, they're just going to be on top of each other. They're going to then be tricky to get to. So I'm thinking I could just store them, you know, paper in here like this. So upright, which I think is going to be, you know, an easier solution then, because I'm going to be able to flick through them. I mean, for instance, here I've got that beautiful vintage newspaper, which I'd bought this, I think I got this about a year ago. Again, I can't really remember. And I absolutely just love this paper. It's just so yummy. So I've been using this in some pieces recently. But again, it just then, you know, I'd kind of shoved it to the side of my desk because I, you know, had been using it. Then when I wasn't using it, it just got kind of tucked down there. So again, I'm thinking, you know, I could just literally store all of these things like this stacked up here. And then that's a really great place to then be able to just go through some of my papers and things like that. And I could even keep like my masterboard scrapbooks on there and things. So I'm just going to pull in, yep, from here, from this messy pile. These are some of the papers that I've been working with this week. So I'm just going to kind of like separate them out. I'm going to keep any that aren't, you know, aren't complete papers. So only pulling in, you know, complete pieces really. And then I've got one of my collage masterboard scrapbooks, oops, here. In fact, I've got two of them here. So again, they can just go in. I don't know whether they would go in actually that way up. So yeah, I mean, I could even kind of have them in, you know, that way up if I want to. Let me just tuck things in. But this is going to just then keep all of my things really quite well contained. And obviously, as you can see, I mean, things are just slipping over at the moment because they're just so, you know, so much room in there for paper. So, of course, I'm going to get a ton of paper in there, which, you know, to anyone not into junk journaling, they would probably look at that and think, well, why on earth would you need that much space? But, you know, as we all know, you can never have enough room for paper. So I'm going to just dig out any full sheets of paper that are currently on my desk, which, wow, my desk is, yeah, looking pretty chock-a-block at the moment. Because, again, I've been working on tons of different things this week. So, again, I'm just going to kind of pull things out that are sort of, you know, complete papers that I don't really know what to do with. Because I've kind of half finished things, but I'm still, you know, still using them. And then I can put them there. And these are my my A4 papers, i.e., you know, my digis and things like that. They're not my 12 by 12s, which are obviously in the cupboard. So I'm just going to pull out some papers. Okay, so I'm here with all the papers that were laying around. So I had this whole bunch of papers that were behind my desk that then had become piled up on top of other things and were really obviously causing me then not to be able to get to things that were underneath them. So I'm just going to literally put these in to here. And again, you know, in slower time, I can go through these and make sure that they're kind of married up with similar, you know, similar papers or the same kit and things like that, so as it would be easier for getting to things. But for the time being, I'm just going to slot them all in. Again, not the best doing this one-handed, but just putting them in like that. So, hold on. Okey-dokey. There. Okay, slid down. Oops. How how people do these videos one-handed is just beyond me, because whenever I've tried to do it, I just cannot do it. It just is so difficult. I'm sure that you can probably not really see anything that I'm doing, so I do apologise. And then, of course, my masterboard scrapbooks, I can just then slot in. Oops, just had an envelope poking out of there where I've obviously been working on some things from there. Okay, right. So that's all in there. And the best news is I've got tons of room to fit more paper in, which, of course, you know, looks like I would never need paper again, but, you know, of course, as crafters, we love paper. So, you know, I've got this room to grow in the front. I've got room here at the side. I mean, I will, of course, tidy how this is in a moment after I finish the video. But for the time being, that's how that looks. And obviously, you know, whilst I haven't got sort of more papers to put in here, I can always fill these other spaces. So on the top, or, you know, on the other shelves, you can see, again, have more mess going on. So I've got some craft punches and things. I've got my Tyvek. I've got my binder tool machine, which again, I very, very rarely use that, to be honest. Put my Tyvek down here. And then again, you know, that's making that easier to get to. And of course, making all this stuff easier to get to. And then I can just slot in a couple of punches along there. Just, yeah, so now I can get to the bits that are on here a bit easier. Obviously, you can see I could do with having a bit of a dust off on there. It's a little bit dusty, where obviously I've not got to there for a long time. And then on the top shelf again, more mess, you know, as you would expect. So again, I can just pull in another punch, which will just fit in there, and then that's, you know, that's done then. You know, with regards to kind of anything else possibly fitting in there. Yeah, I probably won't move on to that top shelf today. Let's just pull, so I've got my mass makes, I'm going to just put them back here to the side, so that looks kind of, you know, tidy-ish now. And then again, oops, I've got my lovely laces there in that box, and I have been hoarding those because I'd received them from Happy Mail, but you know, this year it is my goal to try not to hoard things so much, so I will get using some of those. And then these ones, I didn't put these in because I had printed these on full label sheets so that I could use these like washi tapes. However, I think probably I will slot those in there as well. Again, you know, like I say, I'm going to kind of neatly put that stuff in there once I'm not filming one-handed. So then my little container of, you know, fabric type items and things. Again, you know, it's in there. I'm thinking, you know, wondering whether that would fit in the bottom shelf of that cupboard. I think it's probably going to be too wide, but let's have a look. Right, as you can see, so it does actually fit in here, which is awesome. And actually, it's got plenty of room to spare. I thought it was going to be too wide. But what I'm actually thinking is, to be honest, you know, again, I'm really kind of now drawn and loving the having things, you know, lined up rather than piled on top of each other, which of course then we never get them out because they're just, you know, a nightmare to get to. So I'm thinking again, you know, like my plastic drawers, if you join me, I think it was in my first week of doing the Tidy Fridays, I bought those clear see-through plastic drawers. I think they were actually cosmetic, you know, makeup drawers. And I'm thinking, if I just measure this space, it would be awesome to get some sort of drawer mechanism for in here, preferably again see-through would be great, because I would be able to see at a glance what's in there, and then I could actually just transfer, you know, all of these things pretty much into one drawer. I mean, I've got some flowers in here as well as kind of some fabric things, so I could have them in different drawers. I mean, probably just like 3 drawers or something like that, but it would just make it more useful, whereas at the moment I would have to obviously stack things up, which I'm really trying to get out of doing that, because I just think, like I say, it just means you're never going to get those things out at all. So that's my plan, is to try and find some of those drawers. So obviously the shops are closed and things here because we are in the, you know, the lockdown. So I'll probably have to have a look on Amazon and see if they've got any for a reasonable price. And if they have, I will try and order some of those. And then, you know, I can either show you next week, well, if they've arrived by then, how it looks, or, you know, we can do that together, kind of sorting them out. But that would be a really great space, because I could actually get quite a bit of stuff in there. And, you know, this is only a tiny cupboard. It's just, well, I mean, you can see it's kind of pretty much the size of my big shot. So, you know, but there's lots of valuable space in there. So, yeah, I think we've not done too badly today, actually. I'm feeling quite positive about the progress that we've made. I absolutely love having those papers there. Yeah, I think having all these papers here, being able to just, you know, flick through and get to, you know, certain papers that I might want to use is going to be just much, much easier, you know, because like I say, I was beginning to have, again, you know, it really doesn't take long for the piles to start accumulating all around my work area. And as you can see, I've actually swapped the punches around. So the papers are at this end rather than they were at that end. So my punches are obviously there, my Tyvek's here. And the reason that I have done that is because I thought, yet again, you know, I really want everything to be easy to access, and I'm much more likely to grab my papers than I am to grab my punches. So again, kind of putting the punches, you know, in the least accessible place and the papers at the most accessible place just seems like that's going to be kind of making more sense. To be honest, I probably will use my Tyvek again more than the punch as well. So even, you know, just tiny things like just swapping that around is going to definitely make my life, I think, easier. So yeah, I think that's kind of good progress. And yeah, I'm going to hunt down some drawers. Well, hopefully I will hunt down some drawers. If not, I will obviously have to wait for the shops to reopen. Here I've just got, this was a book that I had bought, oh, really long time ago. Again, I bought it mainly for these gorgeous pages. Look at how gorgeous they are. I thought these, you know, awesome papers and things would be really lovely. Oops, I've just got a little scrap in there. And yeah, I mean, these are actually pockets. So I thought this would be really fun. As you can see, again, I haven't done anything with it yet. So, you know, yet again, it's just going to be another thing waiting to be done. And, you know, every time that I do these Tidy Fridays, I do kind of think, oh, I really need to, I don't know, like today, I'm thinking I must make more flowers and things like that, because again, I've got all those flower petals just sat there ready to use. So, you know, keeping on top of things, I think, is quite, you know, a task in itself, really. So I'm going to put this back on my shelf. And the only other thing actually that I've got just here is I've got this tub here of some of my pre-made flowers, which again, I thought was absolutely awesome because I was keeping them, you know, all separated out in these individual containers. But again, this is quite a big bulky thing. And, you know, again, it's another thing that would be stacked with a lid. So I've also got, yep, I do love making flowers. I've also got these ones in here, which I've made over time. And they're just chucked in. I mean, to be honest, the flowers aren't particularly delicate or fragile because, you know, once you've made them, they're all hot glued together. They, you know, they should hold up pretty well. So I'm thinking actually, again, transfer all of these flowers into this one. And then that's another tub that I can get rid of, another container that can go and does not need to be, you know, sat around on the floor in my craft area. So, I mean, I know not everybody likes their things kind of chucked in like this. I mean, personally, it doesn't really bother me. And in some ways, I actually find it quite nice rummaging through because a bit like my desk being such a mess, if I've got something in mind and they're all laid out like this, I will go straight for the thing that, you know, I had in mind. Where when I have to rummage through, the chances are I'm going to come across other things that, you know, I would never have thought of otherwise, and they might actually work better than the thing that I was originally going for. So, yeah, I think having kind of a bit more of a mix-up is actually quite fun sometimes. So that's my excuse for keeping things a little bit messy like this. But this is awesome. This, you know, for me, this just feels like this works better because they're all just contained in this. And, you know, for me, this feels like a nice decorative box and I don't mind having this, you know, on display. Where this one, obviously, you know, to me, this is not very attractive. And it's very, very big. So, you know, it doesn't particularly fit on a shelf or anything like that. So, you know, it's kind of taken up a lot of room and not looking very attractive. So, yeah. Okay, we've been a bit scatty today. I feel like we've jumped, you know, around quite a bit. but I think we've achieved quite a lot because I've got these containers gone. You know, we've sorted out over here my, you know, area here beside my sewing machine. We've obviously moved the big shot so it's more accessible. I've got a folder there of the card making things that I'm just going to empty the contents into the box that I kind of said that I would keep as a card making box. And of course we've got all those papers just here now perfect and ready to use. And then of course over here we've got all of those papers that are all much more accessible. So I'm feeling quite good about the progress that we've made, to be honest, today. I think, you know, although it seemed like we jumped around a lot, we've actually achieved quite a bit. So yeah, I hope that you guys had fun. Possibly it might have inspired you to, I don't know, sort out some bits in your craft area. I do apologise again for the rubbish filming. It really is just very difficult when you're holding the camera with one hand and trying to do things. And, you know, of course, like I say, I know other people do manage, but I'm just really super rubbish at that. So I do apologise. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, everybody. And thank you, as always, for all your lovely comments and your encouragement, because this is not my cup of tea, you know, tidying and sorting and organising. You know, it's just not my thing, and I would not be kind of keeping with it and doing it if it wasn't for doing these videos. But it does feel awesome afterwards. You know, every single time that I finish one of these videos, I feel thrilled with the progress, and, you know, can't wait to kind of get on and, you know, use my things that I can now access. So yeah, thank you so much, everybody. I really do appreciate it, for you keeping me focused and getting on with it. So thank you so much, and I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. And hopefully see you tomorrow for a continuation of my favourite projects revisited. Thanks so much then. Bye.